Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are doing good. So dear students, let us continue with chapter 7, Glimpses of India. So you all are requested to take out your book and get ready for the same. Chapter 7, Glimpses of India. Okay, so this chapter is having 3 parts as we discussed yesterday, and we started first part of this chapter, which is about baker from Goa. So first part of this chapter tells us about bakers from Goa. So let us continue with that part. Part 1, a baker from Goa. Written by Lucio Rodriguez. Okay. In this part of this chapter, as of now, we have discussed that this story is about Goan baker. So the author tells us the baker, they are not exist in Goa, but still their sons, still they are there, and they still make loaves of bread. Still it is famous in Goa, and not as famous as it was earlier, but still it is famous in Goa. Author also tells us people still remembers, people still talk about bakers from Goa. Bakers of olden days, still they are remembered and people talk about them. Author tells us in his childhood how a baker used to come to village. A baker used to come to village twice. First, when they went for selling their loaves of bread, bread bangles, bowling house. There are varieties of loaves of bread. There are different varieties they were having. First time when they went to sell their loaves of bread, and second when after emptying, after selling their loaves of bread, bangles, all these things, when they would return, then they would go through narrator's village. So thus baker used to pass through narrator's village 2 times. The author also tells us that during his childhood, he as well as other children, they used to love bowling house. They used to love bread bangles, not bowling house, bread bangles. How they were pushed aside and loaves of bread were delivered to the servants which were known as Bestine and Pescine. Further, narrator tells us marriages are meaningless without bowling house. So it was as important as sandwiches during engagement of a daughter, and still they are important in Goa. So how a baker important in Goan village still today, the author tells us. In olden days they were famous and their loaves of bread were preferred by the people. So even today people people in Goa, Goan, even people in Goan village, still they love those fragrance of bread. Still they love to eat those breads. Okay. So now open your book at page number 87. Last two paragraphs are left. So I am going to explain these last two paragraphs. Then I will start second part of this chapter, which is Coorg. Okay, student. So look at second last paragraph at page number 87. The baker or bread seller of those days had a peculiar dress known as kabai. The writer tells us those days bread seller or the bakers used to wear a special, a peculiar, a strange dress which was known as kabai. It was a single piece long frock reaching down to the knees. Kabai was a single piece long frock which was reaching to their knees. In our childhood, we saw bakers wearing a shirt and trousers. So, you know, in olden days they were wearing this kabai, but now in narrator's childhood, narrator saw bakers wearing a shirt and trousers which were shorter than full length ones and longer than half pants. So during his childhood, narrator saw bakers wearing a pant, a half pant, which was longer than half pant and shorter than full pant, shorter than a trouser, shorter than full length ones and longer than half pants. Even today, anyone who wears a half pant which reaches just below the knees invites the comment that he is dressed like a padder. Even today, if in Goan village, even today if anyone wears half pant which reaches just below the knees, that person is teased. You can say not teased, even today people call him a padder. Okay, so even today if a person wears such pant, he is compared to a padder. Okay, so narrator tells us that anyone who wears a half pant which reaches just below the knees invites the comment that he is dressed like a padder. So people still they make fun of the person who wears a pant which is longer than half pant. They call him a padder. Okay. Last paragraph. The baker usually collected his bills at the end of the month. The baker who used to sell their loaves of bread, bowl, bread bangles, they used to collect their bills at the end of the month. Monthly accounts used to be recorded on the same wall, some wall in pencil. So they used to record their monthly account on the wall in pencil. Okay, so they were writing their monthly record on the wall in pencil. Baking was indeed a profitable profession in the olden days. So baking was seemed important, a very profitable profession those days. How it was so? Narrator tells us, the baker and his family never starved. The baker as well as his family, they would never go hungry. So this tells us that it was a profitable business. It was a profitable profession. The baker and his family never starved. Starved means, go hungry. Starved means go hungry. go hungry. So in baker's family no one would go hungry. So that is why it was considered a profitable business. Okay. So starve means go hungry. He, his family and his servants always looked happy and prosperous. So the baker's family and his servants always they look happy and prosperous. Their plum physics was an open testimony to this. Their plum physic means pleasantly fat body. Their pleasantly fat body was an open public statement, open example. We can say that their pleasantly fat body, plum physics means pleasantly fat body. Their pleasantly fat body was an example to this, that they were happy and prosperous. Even today, any person with a jackfruit-like physical appearance is easily compared to a baker. So, the author tells us that even today, if anyone in Goa looks like jackfruit, you must have seen the jackfruit. It's a fruit. It is, in Hindi it is called kathal, jackfruit. You must have seen. So even in Goa today, if anyone looks like a kathal, looks like a jackfruit, so he invites a comment to be called a baker. He is compared to a baker. Okay, students. So this is all about part 1 of the story, a baker from Goa, in which the author tells us how the bakers are still important in Goa, but they had a great importance in ancient time, when in narrator's childhood they were were playing a very important role in Goan village society. But still people talk about them, but they are not as important now as they were in olden days, but still people remember them, they talk about them. Many things have changed now. Their style of wearing the clothes now it has changed. Okay, earlier they were wearing a long frock which was known as kabai, but now they're starting wearing pant shirt. So all these things the narrator tells us about a baker from Goa, and how a baker in Goa still it has a great significance. It has a great importance. Still bakers in Goan village are very important. Okay, students. So this is all about the first part. So let us go through question answers and other exercises. Oral comprehension check. Match the following. What is a must? A marriage gift. So what is a must for a marriage gift? Yes. Anyone? Yes. Cakes and bolinhas. So I am saying anyone. So you should consider that you are in a class, so that you can enjoy the, you can consider yourself as if you are in a class. So that is why I said anyone. If you know the answer, you can, even if you will be watching this video later, you can say yes, I know. So that you can also feel like in class. Okay. For a party and feast, so what was important? We have gone through. So go through once again the paragraphs in which it is given, and attempt these simple questions. Answer to these questions. Okay. What did the bakers wear in the Portuguese days when the author was young? I have just discussed. Answer to this question. I am not going to discuss it again. So you should go through the chapter once again, find out the answer, write them down in your own words in a creative way. So I again and again repeat, you are not just doing question answer, you are learning how to write a creative answer. So that is why don't copy your answer from anywhere. Many students I have found that they are writing by searching on the internet. Don't do that, beta. You are preparing yourself for board examination. So that is why it is very important to write your all the answers, attempt your all the exercises on your own. Write your all the answers in your own words. If any doubt, you can ask me in online classes. Okay. Second, who invites the comment? He is dressed like a padder. Why? I have just explained. Where were the monthly accounts of Baker recorded? Yes, I know everyone knows the answer. Everyone knows the answer? Yes. What does a jackfruit like appearance mean? We have just discussed. So you people are easily can answer. Now think about the text, page number 88. Which of these statements are correct? The padder was an important person in the village in old times. Padders still exist in Goan villages. The padder went away with the Portuguese. The padders continue to wear single piece long frock. Bread and cakes were the integral part of Goan life in the old days. Traditional bread baking is still a very profitable business. Padders and their families starve in the present times. Is bread an important part of Goan life? How do you know this? Okay, so simply go through these answers, and we have just discussed all the things. Okay, so your answer should be grammatically correct. So during writing your answers, please you should be aware grammatically. Whatever you are writing, it should be grammatically correct. Your answer should be in same tense in which the question is asked. If the question is simple present tense, so you are going to write your answer in simple present tense. Okay, so this is very important part of writing an answer. It should be grammatically correct. If it is asked in simple present tense, your answer should be in simple present tense. If it is in simple past, so this way. Okay, so try not to make grammatical mistakes. So here it is not like that you are compelled to write in the same tense. According to sense, you can change the tense of the sentence, but it should be grammatically correct and it must be making a meaning. If it does not make a meaning, then it's not a sentence. You know it very well, na? So that is why write your answer in a creative and organized way. It should be logical, it should be grammatically correct. Now you have time. You don't try to just complete your notebook. No, not at all. You are not just completing your notebook. Okay, so you are practicing how to write a creative answer. So do it honestly. Take the right answer. What is the tone of the author when he says the following? The thud and the jingle of the traditional baker's bamboo can still be heard in some places. So it is nostalgic, hopeful, sad. What? Maybe the father is not alive, but son still carries on the family profession. It is nostalgic, hopeful, dull, sad. What? I still recall the typical fragrance of those leaves. It is nostalgic, hopeful, or naughty. The tiger never brushed his teeth. Hot tea could wash and clean up everything so nicely. After all, it is naughty, angry, funny. What is it? Cakes and bolinhas are a must for Christmas as well as other festivals. Sad, hopeful, matter of fact. The baker and his family never starved. They always looked happy and prosperous. It is matter of fact, hopeful, sad, what? So in online classes I will discuss with you all these questions and their answers. So please note them, write them down. Okay, so get ready for the same. In the coming online classes I will be discussing after reading will finish. I will start discussing question answers and other exercises of this chapter. In this extract, the author talks about traditional bread making during his childhood days. Complete the following table with the help of the clues on the left. Then write a paragraph about author's childhood days. Okay, you have to write a paragraph on author's childhood days after collecting the information as it is told in this question. Second, compare the piece from the text on the left below with the other piece on Gowan Bakers. What makes the two texts so different? Are the facts the same? Do both writers give you picture of the baker? So go through them and write your answer. So now find a travel brochure about a place you have visited. Look at the description in the brochure, then write your own account, adding details from your own experience to give the reader a picture of the place rather than an impersonal factual description. So you have to write about the place where you have just visited, and you have to write in a way that you are presenting the picture of that place. Group discussion, so it will be done in online classes. This group discussion activity will be done in online classes. Now we are going to start part 2 of this chapter, Coorg. Okay. Coorg by Lokesh Abroad. Okay, it is written by Lokesh Abroad. So open your book at page number, turn your book at page number 90. It is about Coorg. Are you ready? Coorg is coffee country, famous for its rainforest and spices. Coorg is a coffee country and it is famous for its rainforest and spices. So various types of rainforests are found in Coorg and spices, and it is known as coffee country. Midway between Mysore and the coastal town of Mangalore sits a piece of heaven that must have drifted from the kingdom of God. So here, with the help of these lines, the author Lokesh Abroad tells us the location of Coorg. Where is it situated? Midway between Mysore and the coastal town of Mangalore. So Coorg is situated between Mysore and the coastal town of Mangalore. Sits a piece of heaven that must have drifted from kingdom of God. So the narrator tells us it's a heaven and which must have drifted, which must have carried away, which must have carried along gently by air. So it has been drifted from the kingdom of God. So it have been carried along gently by air. So this place Coorg, which we are going to read about, so this place must have been drifted from kingdom of God according to the author Lokesh Abroad. This land of rolling hills is inhabited by a proud race of martial men. So this hills is inhabited by a proud race of martial men. So in this hill, this land of rolling hills. So on this land of rolling hills, who live? It is inhabited by a proud race of martial men. So proud race of martial men, they live here. Martial means, you know, the person who were taking part in war, having to do with war. Okay, so this land of rolling hills. So Coorg is a land of rolling hills. You can see many hills there. In Coorg, it is hilly area. Okay, so that is why the author says that this land of rolling hills is inhabited. So who lived in Coorg? So it is inhabited by a proud race. A people of proud race live in Coorg. So they are, who are they? Martial men, beautiful women and wild creatures. So martial men, beautiful women and wild creatures live in Coorg. So you know, in the first paragraph the author tells us Coorg is situated between Mysore and the coastal town of Mangalore, and it must have drifted from the kingdom of God. It must have separated from the kingdom of God. And this land of rolling hills is inhabited by a proud race. So who lived here? Who live here? So a people of proud race, martial men. So martial men, beautiful women and creatures live in Coorg. Coorg or Kodagu, the smallest district of Karnataka. So Coorg, or it is also known as Kodagu, it is also called Kodagu. Coorg or Kodagu, it is the smallest district of Karnataka, is home to evergreen rainforests, spices and coffee plantations. So Coorg is a home to green rainforest. Coorg is a home to evergreen rainforest, spices and coffee plantations. So in Coorg, what you will find? You can find rainforest, spices and coffee plant. Okay, it is famous for its evergreen rainforest, spices and coffee plantation. Evergreen rainforests cover 30% of this district. So evergreen rainforest of Coorg covers at least 30% of the Coorg. It's a great amount, you know. 30% of the Coorg is covered by evergreen rainforest in Coorg. 30% of the area of Coorg is covered by evergreen rainforests. During the monsoons, it pours enough to keep many visitors away. So during monsoons, heavy rains takes place. Heavy rain takes place, and that is why visitors don't visit Coorg during these monsoon. So during monsoons, visitors, tourists avoid visiting Coorg because, you know, it rains heavily in Coorg during monsoon. The season of joy commences from September and continues till March. The season of joy commences means starts. Commences means starts. Okay, so the season of joy starts from September and continues till March. So the best time to visit Coorg is from September to March. The weather is perfect during these months. The weather is perfect. The weather remains perfect with some showers thrown in for good measures, with some showers, with some, you know, beautiful weather, some showers, some drizzling. Okay. The air breathes of invigorating coffee. So in the air you can smell. Air can be smelled with coffee. The air breathes of invigorating coffee. So the air can be smelled with coffee. There is a nice smell of coffee can be felt in the air. So the air breathes of invigorating coffee. Coffee estates and colonial bungalows stand tucked under tree canopies in prime corners. So coffee estates and colonial bungalows, bungalow in a colony, and coffee estates, they stand tucked. They can be found under, under the tree, a roof-like covering that form shelters. So bungalows and colonial bungalows in a colony, the bungalows can be found under roof-like covering of shelters of trees and prime corners and at the best corners. So bungalows, bungalows stand tucked under bungalows can be found. They are just below the trees, under the trees shelter. Okay, so that is why the narrator says that coffee estates and colonial bungalows stand tucked under tree canopies, under trees, roof like coverings that form a shelter. So bungalows, colonial bungalows can be found, they are in the prime corner, in the best corner. Okay students, so it's all about today's class. We will come to know more about Coorg in my next class, in tomorrow's video. Okay students, so thank you for watching.